Good afternoon, everyone. All right, Brixton Metals. We're a junior exploration company based out of Vancouver, Canada. We do trade on the Frankfurt exchange as well. It's our safe harbor statement because I may be making some forward-looking statements today. So Brixton's strategy is really exploration. We're really at the discovery phase, focused on copper, gold, and silver, prominently copper in northwest British Columbia. And we have this massive project that is very discovery-rich. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. We completed just over 18,000 meters this year, and we're ramping up plans for 2023 and probably likely more than that. The company actually owns 4 assets. The last couple of years, we've been focusing on looking to monetize those, and we've done that with at least 2 of them. One notably called the Hog Heaven project in northwest Montana. This was an advanced stage project that we farmed out to Ivanhoe Electric, which is Robert Friedland's new company that just IPO'd this year. So they are planning to do a significant amount of work on that. But between the 2 projects, that will generate on average, about $1.3 million in cash over the next 5 or 6 years for the company. So it allows us to focus our resources and our talents on our flagship project, which we think is the company maker. Just a little bit about copper. I think everybody knows now that we are trying to transition our economy into a low carbon, and that does not happen without copper. And copper is number 2 for electrical conductivity, and all the other metals are ranked to silver, being the number 1 metal for transporting electrical ions. But we see a big gap coming in the copper market. In fact, a huge gap. And I think as the market realizes that, we'll start to see copper prices moving. And I think Goldman Sachs recently came out with a report projecting, doubling the price of copper by 2025. So not far off. I think that's going to drive a lot of capital into copper exploration and development stories. And I mean, to be honest, there have really been underfunding this sector as an industry. So we think we have a good opportunity to participate in that growth. A little snapshot of the company, currently trading around 20 cents, 21 cents. November 2nd, we just announced a strategic investment by the world's largest miner, BHP, is committed to invest up to 19.9% of Brixton, and we're working towards closing of that now. And the cash you see here, $18 million, that's a pro forma post BHP investment. So we'll end the year close to about $18 million in cash. So we're pretty proud of our shareholder base. I think the investment from BHP says a couple things about the company. It's a huge endorsement for the project. Obviously, we're looking for a BHP scale mine, and also a big endorsement for the Brixton geological team. So where we are located, northwest British Columbia, you can see the properties there on the map. We do have a silver-cobalt nickel project in Ontario that we are currently drilling out there to test the cobalt and nickel trend. That hasn't been really a focus, but the main objective for Brixton is really this flagship project in northwest BC. It's actually now over the last few years has grown quite dramatically. It ranks the largest mineral claim holding in British Columbia, something like close to 2,900 square kilometers, and in one of the most prolific gold copper belts in the world, called the Golden Triangle. We're further north in a less explored area, but no less potential. In fact, I would argue that the potential is rather unmatched. And the reason we expanded this claim holding to this massive block it is today, in 2018, the BC government geologists did some reprocessing on their RGS data, and this area ranked as one of the largest, highest ranking porphyry anomalies in the province, and it was open ground in 2018. So we staked as what we could, and then we acquired a number of properties like the Metla and Trapper from other operators. So you can see in here the green squares represent greater than 1% copper. And if you have to look down at the bottom there, the 20-kilometer scale bar, it's a massive area. It's about 80 kilometers from tip to tip on the trend. So it's copper dominant. We've identified at least 14 large-scale target areas for copper and gold. And they're big-scale targets. Each one of those are multi-kilometer target areas. This is showing gold on the same scale. Again, look at the scale bar, 20-kilometer scale bar, and each one of those magenta squares are greater than 10 grams of gold. So lots of targets to play with. We're pretty excited about this Camp Creek target. This is a brand new blind porphyry discovery that we made. And similar to the previous presenter, we're talking about these high sulfidation veins and breccias at surface where a lot of the previous work was done. But it's only been recently that we're actually pushing deeper down. Now we're tapping into the porphyry. And this is not a pencil porphyry. This is a large-scale target. The drilling that you see here on the plan map represent about 500-meter area. And we think based on the veins and the breccias and the alteration that we see, the system looks like to be 1 kilometer and maybe 2, maybe 3 kilometers in scale. So it's a big system. We have the potential to build a very large project here. We see this as a deep block cave. It's wide open, effectively in multiple directions. But what's interesting is as we get deeper into the system, we start to get into some of the higher grade mineralization. So we see this as a block cave mining scenario. And we're really getting started. The plan would be to drill another 10 deep holes next year at much bigger steps in that 200, 300, 400 meter step. We can start to build some serious volume here. It just shows how we rank, I guess, with other porphyry copper dominant systems in the world. We're in the mix, I would say, and the goal would be to rank up into a higher ranking as we drill more holes on the system. Now, just shifting gears a little bit on the gold system. This is geochem on the northern part of the property. We've got a 11-kilometer anomaly. Camp Creek is part of that anomaly. But where we've been doing a fair amount of work this year, besides Camp Creek, is this Trapper target. It's quite an interesting gold anomaly in itself. It represents about a 4-kilometer piece of that 11-kilometer anomaly. And the reason we're excited about it is because of the surface samples that we've been collecting are remarkable high-grade gold, over 100 grams, 135 gram gold from surface. And a lot of visible gold in the rocks here. So we've been drilling the last couple of years. You can see some of the results here. The yellow stars represent visible gold in the core. So lots of visible gold recognized and logged in the core. The blue lines that you see on the map are holes that we've drilled that we yet to release to the market. In fact, we drilled about 18,000 meters and only released about 3,000 to date. So lots of results to come. And it's good to see the visible gold. Hole 205 was one of a highlight hole for this year. 64 meters of 5.7 grams, including almost 29 of 10. So this represents a pretty meaningful target. And we're seeing mineralization at surface here down to about 400 meters so far. So pretty shallow drilling. We think we have lots of room to grow this target that is within this 4-kilometer geochem anomaly. So great to see the visible gold, encouraging. So it should be relatively easy recovery on that target. Now, just quickly on the Metla target, this is an exciting new target for Brixton because we haven't been out here much. In fact, the season before was too much snow. We had a 300% snowpack that season, so we actually couldn't get out and do much. But this year, however, the snowpack is a little more normal. And what's encouraging to us is that a lot of operators have played around in here, and there's been a lot of glacial retreat. And that's encouraging and exciting because a lot of those samples you see in magenta here, those were previously under ice. In fact, we've been sampling material that was under ice a few years ago, and we're excited because here's what we've been finding. Bornite and chalcopyrite at surface, never been found before. So this is effectively a new discovery in the making, and we're seeing visible gold with the bornite. So this is really encouraging. This is a brand new target for us, one of many, but we think this is one that's going to see a lot of attention in 2023. And so keep an eye on that one. So in closing, I just would like to summarize. I think Brixton has a very attractive portfolio of assets, some that are being monetized. We're well cashed up. We've got a strong shareholder base. And now we've got the endorsement by the world's largest miner, BHP. So I think Brixton is worth keeping an eye on. Thank you for your attention. And